Yeah, this is a recording from yesterday because yesterday went pear-shaped due to audio issues as well as it just went pear-shaped. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're just going to now just go through how to do the HTML pages with a little bit more. So that was for grade 11 stuff. Just to get our index looking a bit better, just to get it to look a bit of a nicer website. I'm not going to do a full video on this one. I'm just going to do an overview of what I did, what I had done, and what I'd gone through. Is firstly, if you take a look here, I added the home buttons or the pages to links to look a bit better, so that they would hover and that kind of stuff. So I'll show you how to quickly hover those and how to get them to look like more like buttons. You could replace these with images or things like that. You could change it so it doesn't have the underline. Your guys' choice on that. And you can even swap between images. But yeah, I'm not going to go into details. And to show you how you can get a scroll pane inside a little panel, so you can get it so that a general structure would look the same. Also, what you must be aware of is, at a later stage anyway, you would normally swap between mobile browsers and external browsers if the case would be. But you'll see that this site does do well in multiple different screen resolutions because we've done the absolute using VWVH. But obviously there's a limit. So if you are working with mobile browsers, you'll usually swap, so your design would completely work different. So you swap between pages. But it works well on different resolutions on this regard. Right. What we're going to do here is we're going to, I'm just going to go over what we did there and how I did it. Now, I do advocate, or not advocate, I do suggest using W3 schools, and you'll see there's Learn HTML, which is the actual code on the context side, and on there you can go through different elements. You can go through the idea of an iframe. So, for example, it's very easy to embed YouTube videos. There's even it goes to XML code, file paths, blah blah. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that you can go into here, how the blocks work, HTML5 size. You guys can play around with that in your own size. Canvases for graphics, I haven't played around with that too much myself, but you guys are welcome to. The only thing I want to go into now, what I want to discuss now, is the CSS, which is your cascading style sheet, which deal with your styles. And one of the things you'll get to is there's a section there that says navigation bar. And this was the one I followed to have my menu at the top here. And you can see it goes to different examples of how you can add it out there. It goes to different examples of your navigation bar. It goes through the codes and so forth. You guys can work through this in your own guide. There's an idea that you can try it yourself. There's even different activities as you get further down. But you'll see it goes all the way down. There's a whole bunch of different ways of doing it. And that you can have your about on your far right hand side to get your links from there and that kind of stuff. So play around with that. It is really worthwhile. The navigation bar, there's also a drop down, so to create a drop down menus. So drop down menu would look like this. This one's a little bit more tricky. So depending on how much time you want to invest in it, you can work with that. Forms. It does show you how to create a form. However, you need a back end to be able to actually get the form in. And I know last year my grade 10s added a form, and then they expected the responses just to work, but unfortunately it doesn't quite work like that. On a form, you need to put a bit of a back-end code on a server to be able to take in that input of the form and then to do something with it. Now, if we have time, or if there's a lot of you who do want to get a form, I can potentially create a form, but you'd have to point it to that location and so forth. I'd rather you spend more time than working with JavaScript or along those lines, where you can add nice sort of little functions where you can get it to do like a floating clock and stuff like that. I'd rather you mess around with that than you do with forms. It does talk here about a JavaScript form, and you might be able to then get it to do the output as well. So here it says you see action page.php. This is the action where the form would go to, and naturally you have to learn a different language, the PHP language, and I think we need to hold back a bit from that now. So I'm happy for you to go and do other sort of JavaScripting, but I want you to stick to CSS, HTML, and go away from the forms. JavaScript is only for those who want to play around a bit further. It's not going to get you many more marks, things like that. Yeah, so I hope this is sort of just a little tutorial video of what I'm sort of expecting. Just to show you what I had done for mine, I just created my list items for my home, page 1, page 2. In my style sheet, I then created a, for my nav tag, I created a hover to get the color to change. So the full color on hover, when the mouse is over it, it will change it. And then for my last thing, the little scroll option here, where when there's too much content, it will allow you to scroll here. That's literally just in my style sheet under my section tag. I added overflow property, and on the overflow property I literally just said overflow scroll, meaning if it's too large, the context of it is too large, add a scroll bar there, and then it will allow you to add the scroll bar on that. I hope this video has helped. It's a short version of step 4. Yeah. I want you guys to work on your projects now, and then I'll be coming around helping you as you go through. Enjoy your day.